please find your seats. And let's go on the record. Good afternoon. It's January 23rd of 2025, and the current time is 1:25 p.m. You just finished the question and answer portion of the local public hearing. If you had questions about this rate case, I hope you were able to get those questions answered. If you were unable to get those questions answered or you had additional questions, I would ask you to contact the commission staff, the company, or the Office of the Public Counsel with your questions about this rate case. Now, the Missouri Public, we're going to start now the formal comment part of the local public hearing, which is an opportunity for you to provide comments to the commission on Ameren's requested rate increase. Now, the Missouri Public Service Commission has set aside this time for a local hearing in file number ER-2024-0319, a general rate case which is captioned as in the matter of Union Electric Company doing business as Ameren, Missouri, tariffs to adjust its revenues for electric service. My name's John Clark. I'm the regulatory law judge overseeing this local public hearing today, and I'll be presiding over this case. The Missouri Public Service Commission regulates the rates charged by investor-owned utility companies in Missouri to ensure that those rates are just and reasonable. The commission also regulates the quality of service and the safety of operations of investor-owned utilities. The commission is made up of 5 commissioners, some of which are here with me today. To my immediate right is the chair of the commission, Kayla Hahn. To my far right is Commissioner Glenn Kolkmeyer, and to my left is Commissioner John Mitchell. Participating via WebEx today, so he will be able to hear comments, is Commissioner Jason Holzman. Now, the commissioners are appointed by the governor to a fixed terms and are confirmed by the Senate. The commissioners employ a staff of engineers, accountants, attorneys, financial analysts, and other specialists in the areas of utility regulation. Chair Hahn, would you like to make any opening remarks?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for being here as part of this rate case process. This is not the first and not the last local public hearing, and we've had some local public hearings already, but this one is located here in Jefferson City to try to meet the needs of those that live around here. If for whatever reason you don't get all of your comments in today, there are also other opportunities, including online comment sessions. But we're so thankful that you came today and gave up time on your Thursday afternoon. We know that you could be doing any number of things, but undoubtedly your comments and feedback will help inform our decision and help us make a better decision because of it. So with that, just thank you for being here, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Chair Hahn. I also missed a commissioner. To my immediate left is Commissioner Maida Coleman. So I apologize for that, Commissioner Coleman. At this time, since this is a formal local public hearing, I'm going to ask for entries of appearance for the attorneys for the various parties, starting with Ameren, Missouri.
Wendy Tatro, 1901 Choteau Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63103.
Thank you, Ameren, Missouri. On behalf of the commission staff.
Thank you, Judge. Mark Johnson, appearing on behalf of the staff of the Missouri Public Service Commission. The court reporter has my business address.
Thank you, staff. On behalf of the Office of the Public Counsel.
Lindsay Van Gerpen on behalf of the Office of the Public Counsel, and our business address is 200 Madison Street, Jefferson City.
Thank you, Public Counsel. And I haven't seen any, but are there any interveners present? I see and hear none. Now, for those who would like to provide comments today, I'm going to call the names as they were signed up on the list to testify. When I call your name, please come up to the podium to offer your comments. Now, there's a lot of people here today. These hearings have been very well attended. Because of that, I'm going to limit the time people speak to approximately 3 minutes. So when we get to around the 3-minute mark, I'll let you know and you can complete your thought. Also, after you've offered your comments, please remain at the podium for just a second. Myself, the commissioners, or the attorneys present may have a question for you or two. I'm also going to ask, there are a lot of people speaking. I know that utility rate increases have a large emotional impact for people. I know people feel very emotional about their utility rates. I'm going to ask, as you come up to speak, that there are going to be some diverse opinions here. Please respect the opinions of everybody who's speaking and treat others as you yourself would like to be treated. Now, the commission is not going to be able to answer any of your questions today. And that's because this is an ongoing case, and there's not been an evidentiary hearing, and they're confined to what is in the record. As I said before, if you have questions, please speak to representatives of the company, the commission staff, or the Office of the Public Counsel. With that in mind, I'm going to call the first name on my list. If I butcher your name, please let me know. Brian Strubig. Mr. Strubig, would you state and spell your name for the record?
Brian Strubig, B-R-Y-A-N-S-T-R-U-E, B as in boy, I, G as in girl.
Thank you. And just so everybody knows, I have a court reporter here who is taking down everything that's said. It's going to be in a transcript so the commission and myself can review it whenever we want to. And Mr. Strubig, would you raise your right hand and be sworn? You solemnly swear or affirm that the comments you're about to give at this local public hearing are the truth?
I do.
And what would you like to tell the commission today?
Hello, my name is Brian Strubig. I'm from Eldon, Missouri. I'm an Ameren customer. I'm also a stockholder. I am also a tax accountant. I am deeply concerned about the proposed rate increase by Ameren. My first point is about the impact on customers with fixed income, many of whom are my clients. After the rate increase in 2013, another hike so soon imposes a significant burden, particularly on those that are least able to afford it, as their other costs have also increased. This is in addition to the peak and off-peak pricing with new meters that confuse many customers. As a renter, I not only rent my abode, but I also rent my office space for my tax accounting business. Both buildings are well over 20 years old and are not very energy efficient. While the landlords do not have any problems increasing the rents, they are very remiss in making any energy efficient improvements to the building, as the burden of paying the electric bill does not fall on them but on me. You can only replace so many light bulbs and energy efficient appliances to cut back on usage. Life and business must go on. Secondly, with Ameren's substantial profits, I question the necessity of this rate increase. The financial incentives provided by the Inflation Reduction Act should ease the cost of green energy projects that they are saying that they are going to use this money for, lessening the need to pass these expenses on to customers. In looking at their third quarter results furnished to the public and to investors like myself, the company showed a very healthy profit so far all the way through the third quarter of $979 million. In the past 9 months, Ameren has paid out $535 million in dividends. In fact, the company in the last reporting year of 2023 showed a net profit of $1.13 billion. Now, that is a 0.07 increase from 2022. In addition to all the profits Ameren is looking at in Missouri, there is current pending Missouri legislation to eliminate the corporate tax rate here for them as well, which would add substantial amounts of profit for them also in the future. Now, I've read the future guidance that shows the increase in investment is for green technology, as well as shutting down fossil fuel energy production such as coal plants. I commend Ameren on this endeavor, as do my children and my grandchildren. I know that there is a capital expense to this transition, but the lower upkeep and the lower labor cost of maintenance will offset these costs. This is in addition to the generous tax credits available to Ameren through the Inflation Reduction Act and other local initiatives that have been passed. As for the mitigation of the Russian Island Energy Center, that burden should fall on us as shareholders. If we were not at fault, insurance would have covered this. It is our responsibility as stakeholders in the company to clean up the mess that we are at fault for. Lastly, I urge Ameren to be transparent on how it plans to use these profits and tax incentives to benefit its customers, not just me as a shareholder. We need clarity on this to ensure that the rate increase are truly their last resorts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Strubig. Very well said. I appreciate your comments.
Thank you. Any questions?
I have no questions. You may be seated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Susan Gibson? Ms. Gibson, would you state and spell your name for the record?
SUSANGIBSON.
And would you raise your right hand to be sworn? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the comments you're about to give to the commission today are the truth?
I do.
And what would you like to tell the commission?
Ameren knew the improvements they're asking to pay for would be necessary. Even though they have a healthy profit margin, they have raised rates faster than inflation and paid dividends year-round to investors. According to KDSK News in St. Louis, Public Service Commission data showed that Ameren cut off electricity for 20,083 accounts in October of 2022. People already cannot afford their rates. Ameren is essentially asking for a tax on us to pay their investors. Ameren, Missouri has been ordered by a federal court to spend more than $61 million to offset its past clean air violations. Their Rush Island Energy Center operated for years in violation of the Clean Air Act. That was a choice. It illustrates that Ameren is reckless, irresponsible, and lawless. Ameren recently shut down Rush Island rather than install pollution controls to bring it into compliance with clean air standards. Further, I am insulted and incensed that the police have been called to this meeting as if the people have malintent. I object. This concludes my testimony.
Thank you for your comments. I will say that the police presence that we have today is not to intimidate. I hope that nobody thinks that that's the purpose of it. That's not why we have it. We have, in fact, there's been some chatter that would amount to a threat. So that's why we have extra security here today. But it's certainly not to intimidate or prevent anyone from talking. We're here to receive your comments. We want to receive your comments, whether they're positive or not. But thank you for your comments. Ms. Gibson. Joshua Dunn. Mr. Dunn, would you state and spell your name for the court record?
Joshua Dunn, Joshua, and Dunn, Dunne.
And do you solemnly swear or affirm that the comments you're about to give to the commission are the truth?
I so affirm.
Okay. And what would you like to tell us today?
As I said, my name is Joshua Dunn, and I am the chairman of the Cole County Democratic Central Committee. The reason why we are here is because in our mission statement, it says that the Cole County Democrats will work tirelessly with integrity to protect the rights and freedoms of Cole County and Missouri residents in order to build an inclusive, vibrant community that promotes justice, health, and prosperity for all.
Sorry, could you read a little bit slower?
Yes, I'm sorry. The Cole County Democrats work tirelessly with integrity to protect the rights and freedoms of Cole County and Missouri residents in order to build an inclusive, vibrant community that promotes justice, health, and prosperity for all. This is about the prosperity and health of our citizens. The Cole County Democratic Central Committee is deeply concerned about the proposed rate increase by Ameren. The impact this will have on customers that are on fixed incomes, especially with the increase in food cost and medicine cost coming with caps being removed on prescription drugs for Medicare and Medicaid participants by the Trump administration. Ameren rates just increased in 2023, and doing another significant rate hike this soon will put undue financial burden on the communities and families that are least able to afford it. There are already limited housing options in Jefferson City and in Cole County, and many homes are not energy efficient. This will cause the undue burden on homeowners, renters, and small businesses. Having basic electricity is a necessity for us to live our lives, feed our kids, and run our businesses. The proposed rate hike will harm not only the people of Cole County, but every county in Missouri where Ameren provides the service, leaving millions of people with tough choices to make and struggling to make sure that their checks make it to the end of the month. In 2023, Ameren has a net profit of $1.13 billion. That is an increase from 2022. And from the public third quarter results, the 2024 profits will see more net profits of over $1 billion. In just the past 9 months, Ameren has paid over $5 million in dividends to stockholders. With numbers like that, it's hard to ask people on fixed incomes and small businesses to pay more for the utility service. While we commend Ameren's proposed investment in greener technology and are aware of the expense that comes with the transition away from coal plants, the lower upkeep and maintenance costs will offset some of those costs. In addition, the Biden administration's Inflation Reduction Act provides generous tax credits for investment in renewable technology. This will help offset the costs into the changeover even more. The Cole County Democratic Central Committee urges Ameren to be transparent in how this increase costs will actually benefit their customers and not just their largest shareholders. Rate increases on small business and Missourians of fixed incomes should be the very last resort. We cannot and will not endorse this scheme for Ameren to use profits to pay shareholders and then cry poor when there's work to be done.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Dunn.
Thank you.
Tara Hallmark. Thank you, very good point. Remember that. I apologize. Would you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Tara Hallmark, Tarahallmark.
And do you solemnly swear or affirm that the comments you're about to give the commissioner are the truth?
I do.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm very nervous, and it is scary because I know that y'all have a lot of responsibility, and thank you for being here. Please be a little forgiving because I'm just a regular Army wife, and I worked for FEMA as a responder as my husband went across the country, so I know y'all are really smart and able to do stuff that can affect a lot of people, and it is scary to have the police here for an electric company wanting money, but I hope that you will listen to what I have to say, even though it's not polished and smart, that it's just regular conversation, that some of the veterans who are hooked up have no choice in Missouri but to use the same folks that bring in the hydroelectric at Bagel Dam, that dump water from Callaway, that dirty our areas from Rush. And I know that a lot of the money and requests that they're asking for have a lot of really detailed processes that are absolutely designed to be way above somebody like me who most folks are too busy. They just want to be able to turn on the lights. And I got to remind y'all that I know y'all have a big responsibility, and maybe not understanding what it's like to be the union person that is being asked to work yet get not as much money and pay a higher bill. I think that is definitely what has happened for a while, at least since the news showed that there was quite a bit of disgruntledness. So that's our neighbors that are having problems with the electric company that we all have no choice, or power company we have no choice for. They can say something because they're going to work. The veterans cannot. As a military wife, my entire adult life, and working for FEMA, I've seen stuff across the way, and it doesn't have to be this way. There is no competition, and they have been, Ameren has been around for hundreds of years. That grid that they keep saying that we have to pay for has been paid for by everybody before us. And they receive so much money from the news. during COVID and after COVID, and they had all these really great programs for people, but they had hiring freezes, and then they increased rates. And all I see is that they're not very good with the way that they're handling their processes. If they have to pay their stock folks a certain amount, but wait for their maintenance and other compliances and environmental concerns to get through decades of courts in order to keep paying the people that have so much money while the rest of us are having no choice. So when you sit there and you have to hang your hat on something, I can only ask you to please remember that they have never had to suffer by a pay cut or job freeze or a layoff. And it is very important for them to go ahead and maybe even give you a chance to show your muscle again to this organization that is part of Missouri. Ameren is woven into our laws, to our regulations. They have freebies and benefits. They get a whole bunch of great stuff from the state of Missouri because they grew up with us. But now they're the only ones, and they're kind of muscling around saying to the old folks, hey, you don't got a choice. If you want to watch TV, if you want your BPAP to work, or if you want to hook up at night after your service, or after, for real, emergency response, because I kind of come from fire marshals and stuff. So I want you to remember those folks. And I know y'all have a lot of responsibility, and you have a lot of fancy talk and a lot of double talk. But the only thing that really matters right now for the people who can't be here is the fact that their pocketbooks are going to be less after decades of paying for the same service, when the board maybe should get a recommendation to take a pay cut and show in a quarter how committed they are to our state. Please remember that. I know it's hard, and you have a lot of responsibility, and I know for sure the next cold storm, the next winter storm, the next time anything bad happens, because it happens every year, the assurances from the Social Security, the veterans pay, all of that money that has already been paid in for the infrastructure builds up has already been paid for, and if it fails, again, like it has in the past, remember me saying, they are not really doing a good job. Maybe they need to show the kind of evaluation and work that is required, just like they require their employees. The employees go through an interview. If there's a problem, they have a period of showing that they are committed to doing well. Maybe it's time now. Why don't you go ahead, stretch your muscles a little bit, and put them on the block, have them come back and say, you know what? You have proven yourself to invest back into Missouri and back into the people who you are charging this for. We should not be cleaning up messes that my uncles and aunts and family and neighbors have already paid for. They've gotten a lot of money from grants, and before that, fiber optics and broadband. So they've done just fine. I'd like them to go ahead and step up and understand what a lot of the folks that are now at home counting their pennies will have to go through, and maybe you'll
Ms.
understand.
Hallmark, if you'll finish your thought, you're over 3 minutes.
And thank you so much for everything that y'all do. I'm so impressed. I always wondered what it was like to be people like you. Let's show the folks at home and the kids how so much power can help, just for the regular folks. And this way, it's also going to empower y'all to keep Ameren, to remember their place. It's a partnership. Let's make it that way. Force it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hallmark. We're delighted you're here. We're delighted that you're all here. This is our opportunity to hear from the public. We'll hear from the company and the other parties at the evidentiary hearing, but this is our first and real opportunity to hear from you. That was very well said, and I apologize. Commissioner Coleman has a question for you.
Not a question, but a comment, Ms. Hallmark. Thank you for thinking that we're more than just regular folks. But I think that if you haven't done it with a name like Hallmark, you might want to check your genealogy charts to see how regular you are. We appreciate you being here.
And if I had to take away one thing from your message, and I was going to ask you about this, but you've sat down, would it be correct to say that kind of the gist point that I took away from this was that you believe Ameren should fix the infrastructure first and worry about dividends later?
I think they need to show that they are just as committed by taking cuts and fixing what they should have fixed and stop that trend.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hallmark. Frederick Newell? Is there a Frederick?
Hello. FREDERICKNEWELL.
And do you solemnly swear or affirm that the comments you're about to give to the commission are the truth?
I do.
Go ahead.
I want to start by saying I think that the commission made a mistake back in October in basically forcing Ameren to stop doing their energy efficiency programs. That also spread to Kansas City for Evergy. I live at the Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri. I am a Ameren customer, a happy Ameren customer, I'd like to add. They've always been fine to do business with, and on my employment is in the HVAC business, and when these programs are changed, it essentially lowers the entry-level equipment for everybody in our two largest cities. So starting January 1st this year, there's no way to get a rebate from Ameren or Evergy, and obviously we're concerned about Ameren here today. And that is damning for a lot of reasons, especially when you pair it with a possible rate increase. If you've got a rate increase, and part of the reason the rate increase is being proposed is because they want to increase energy efficiency programs and solar, wind, and all of that. If you've got more people than you had before buying lower efficiency equipment because there's no incentive to buy higher efficiency equipment, it's really a double-edged sword. So people are going to be paying higher rates, and they're putting less efficient equipment in their house, which allows fewer people to fit on the failing grid we have now. So my question for the commission would be, work with Ameren, work with Evergy to find out a way to continue these programs, or don't complain 3 years from now when they need another increase. Because if we sell 1,000 systems a month out of our wholesale distributor in Chesterfield, Missouri. Last year, 800 of them would have been 15 SEER efficiency or higher. I fear that this year it will be flip-flopped. People make decisions based on rebates and efficiency programs, and Ameren is a trusted name. That mail comes to your mailbox every month, explains those rebate programs. If they don't have a rebate, they're not going to explain to anybody that pays these rates that there are programs to make their homes more efficient. So I do think the ball was dropped. Can Ameren possibly continue these programs in a different way? I sure hope so. And my request would be of Ameren, if you're going to increase rates 15.77%, there must be enough money in that increase to allow these rebate programs to continue so the average Missourian has the option to have a more efficient system. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Newell.
You bet.
Sean Donahoe? Sean Donahoe? Larry Burns?
Good afternoon. My name is Larry or Lawrence Behrens, Larry Behrens.
And do you solemnly swear or affirm that the comments you're about to give to the commission are the truth?
I do.
And what would you like to tell the commission today, Mr. Burns?
Well, thank you, Madam Chair and members of the commission. It's a privilege to be here. I am a ratepayer here in Cole County, and I'll just be up front. I should have said this in the question session, but I also want to give thanks to Ameren. Myself, my entire family is addicted to hot water and lights, and they make that happen. So I don't mean that jokingly. I really do appreciate it. It doesn't just happen by accident, so thank you for that. That said, I am concerned about the capital investments Ameren has made recently and also what they would propose to do with this rate increase should it come to pass. What we see from their own reports to the state in trying to meet the renewable portfolio standard is that they have brought on solar farms that they, by their own discussion today in the meeting, are happy if they are working at 25% capacity. I don't know what government entity would be happy with 25% capacity. After this, I'm going to go buy a pizza. I'm going to pay full price for it. I don't want 25% of a pizza. And asking for a rate increase while arguing that solar is the cheaper option is a round peg that I am unable to square. I moved to this state about 3 years ago with my family. One of the reasons is the affordability of this state. You do not know how good you have it in Missouri. I moved from a state that went down the wind and solar route, and their energy bills have increased 60% in 5 years. And that is on the backs of working families. And so to see that this is happening here is highly discouraging. I'll be the first to admit I'm not against profits. I try to make a profit with my family budget every day. But that said, when we look at this rate increase, especially coming on the quick succession of other rate increases for capital investments that are going to operate in some cases, the DeMar Renewable Energy Center operates at 5.7% capacity. What type of energy infrastructure are we happy with that operates to 5 to 25% capacity? And why would we pay a premium price for it? I would argue that we need not do that. And before I go in the next part, it was discussed today that previous rate increases are usually negotiated. So Ameren comes with, in this case, 15.7%. And then perhaps a commission, not necessarily this commission, a commission would take it down to 9% and declare victory. Speaking for myself personally, the only appropriate negotiation number for this is 0% increase for our bills. It is not a highball offer meant to be negotiated down back doors so that families can continue paying more. And by the way, if this rate increase is really for what they describe as renewable energy, is there any type of discussion that says those products that we use to capture this energy must be made in the United States? I would argue that that is not the case because most of these products are made overseas, because American manufacturing does not make these products. And so we're asked for a rate increase that is putting potential Missourians out of a job for a natural gas plant that would have a smaller footprint, put people to work, and be more affordable. I understand it doesn't have the federal subsidies for foreign-made components that have a much larger footprint. We're talking tens of thousands of acres of farmland in Missouri. I don't think anybody would make that deal. And more importantly, I think anybody running for office, if I were running for office, which I am not, if I were to say I'm running for office and I'm going to have a 15% tax increase, that is what we're expected to foot the bill here for today. I would urge the commission to go against this and make sure that it is not a negotiable number and declare victory with something less than 15%. I think you've heard today, people are reaching across the political aisle to say that number should be 0. Thank you, members of the commission.
Thank you very much for your comments. Lindsay Phoenix.
Thank you. Madam Court Reporter Lindsay Phoenix, LINDSEY-PHOENIX.
And do you solemnly swear or affirm that the comments you're about to give to the commission are the truth?
I so affirm.
And what would you like to tell the commission today?
My name is Lindsay Phoenix, and I am a 41-year-old local attorney who makes a modest living for the state of Missouri. My spouse is a former law enforcement officer and is now a public school teacher, and we have 2 elementary-age children at home. I've been a trial attorney for the last 13 years, and I make my living speaking in front of people. And I knew that my voice would shake today. And I want to make sure everyone here knows that it's not because I'm nervous, it's because I'm angry. In the last 48 hours, we have witnessed the intentional dismantling of every ounce of progress made in the United States in the last 75 years. And if I have to sit back and watch these billionaires set fire to the country that I love, I would sure appreciate at least being able to do it in a warm home. Ameren's profits are up a lot. We all know that. There is no need for a rate increase. Ameren wants to take more from the public to pad the pockets of its C-suite, and they are willing to hurt the public more and more in order to do it. We see through this disgusting cash grab for the pure greed that it is. The gentleman from Ameren, during the Q&A, so delicately dodged some important questions, so I want to make sure that the record reflects what he was trying so hard not to say. Number one, the public has no choice in whether or not we are customers of Ameren. The competition mentioned in the rate increase letter does not exist. And number two, Ameren has asked for a rate increase approximately 12 times in recent history and has been denied exactly 0 times. They said, hey, we're following the law and making those requests. It is what it is. But let's be honest, Ameren's lobbyists have been the puppet master in the construction of every single utility law and regulation that exists in the state of Missouri. And now they dare to use these laws and regulations as a shield against the public blowback from their unwise and unethical business practices. A moment ago, it was stated by I believe the auditor from the PSC, quote, "The commission can't manage the company." Perhaps the commission needs to be reminded that the commission was created for and is funded by the taxpayers to act as a gatekeeper and protector of the public in situations like this. So I ask you, why do rules apply to me that don't apply to them? If I do a piss-poor job of managing my money, my bank is going to laugh at my face when I come and ask them for a loan. And it is time for you to laugh in their face. Mr. Clark, you stated a moment ago in preparation for these statements that people are emotional about their utility rates. With all due respect, this is not just about our utility rates. This is about the constant attack on the American dream by those that we have trusted to uphold it. As a citizen, I did everything right. I worked hard in school. I went to law school. I followed the rules of society to be a good neighbor. I've spent over 15 years in public service. I donate my time and my money to contribute to and volunteer for this community. And yet here I am spending my lunch hour and now my vacation pay begging a company to set their greed aside so that I can afford to keep my children warm in their beds at night. It's a disgusting failure of the system, and Ameren's greed and the apathy of the commission is making it worse. I beg you, do better. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Phoenix. Randy Clarkson?
Hello, I'm RANDYCLARKSON.
And Mr. Clarkson, do you solemnly swear or affirm that the comments you're about to offer to the commission are the truth?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Thank you for this opportunity. I attended a meeting here about 2 years ago after the polar vortex caused so much damage. I'm sure some of you are aware of that. Many of my friends suffered increases in their expenses due to insurance, interestingly enough, because many of the multi-level homes suffered frozen pipes, and it took as much as 1.5 years in some cases to rebuild. And this was very devastating to some people. I'm not sure, the media, I didn't see much coverage of this in the media, but this was very devastating to a lot of those people. I've learned here today, by the way, thanks for the pre-meeting. It was very informative. I don't remember something like that 2 years ago, and that was very helpful. In fact, here today I've met someone with Ameren who has a program to help people that have a hard time paying their bill. But in this particular case, the difficulty came not only with a slight increase in power bill, but a dramatic increase in insurance costs associated with that power outage. Let me also say that even though
Associated with?
the power outage at the time of about 2 years ago, December 22 and 23 of 1923. Also, I would like to say, I think it's really vitally important. It's a difficult thing, I know, to balance. We have to have adequate energy for growth in the Ameren area. It's absolutely important. And somehow we have to have a balance to where people can't afford their electric bill. But I did environmental engineering my whole life. And at this point in my life, one of the things I've learned is you don't keep a clean environment if you don't have a good economy. We don't have a good economy without adequate power. That's all of the comments I have.
Thank you, Mr. Clarkson. Janice Lauer.
Hello, I just want to ask a procedural question. Is it possible for me to waive my testimony on account of it would be repetitive and therefore unnecessary, considering the comments already said?
This is a public comment. If your public comment is that other people have addressed your issues, that is a fine comment to make.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for letting us know.
Thank you.
Charles Contrill. Is there a Charles Contrill? Vicky Schildmeyer. And Ms. Schildmeyer, would you state and spell your name for the record?
Vickischilld, as in dog, Meyer.
And did I pronounce your name right?
That is close enough.
I apologize for any
No
mispronunciation.
problem.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the comments you're about to give to the commission today are the truth?
I do so affirm.
Go right ahead.
I work with a church food pantry that's about 2 blocks from here. And I also volunteer on Fridays at Common Ground Community Building, which is a ecumenical nonprofit for benevolence. And the reason I came today is to talk about the impact on many people throughout this community when electric rates are increased at all, let alone 15%. At the food pantry last week, a young mom with a 4-year-old came, and she was trying to round up $159 to pay the payment plan deposit with Ameren. And unfortunately, I had to refer her to Common Ground, which provides utility assistance. However, because she had received utility assistance within the last 12 months, she was not eligible for any. And so what I had to do was either offer her some of my own funds, which I've already donated hundreds of dollars to Common Ground, or I have to give her some other resource. So I told her, phone all your friends and family and see if they can each give you 20 or 30 bucks. This is not the way to take care of people in our community. The other part of this whole problem, on Fridays when I answer phone at Common Ground, we usually have, at this time of year, 75 to 80% of our requests are for people seeking utility assistance. In the past, we've had the LIHEAP program administered through CMCA, Central Missouri Community Action, to assist these people. These programs are being phased out, and so more people either pay their rent or pay their utility bill. When they don't pay their rent, they're evicted. And I can tell you that I talked to a friend this morning signing up to take meals to Jefferson City Room at the Inn, which is one of our 2 homeless shelters. They turned away 2 nights ago 6 people. Do you know what the temperature was overnight when I woke up that morning? It was 2 below at 6 a.m. So overnight, people are struggling to survive in temperatures below 0. There's just too much homelessness that results when people have the pressure of high utility bills. Many of the people who have this pressure the most are living in substandard housing, and as a result, their utility bills are outrageous. That's all I wanted to do, was let you know firsthand people in this city suffer because of the current rates. A 15% increase is just onerous. Thank you.
Just to clarify, you said in your experience volunteering that 70 to 80% of the requests received where you're at are for utility assistance. Is that correct?
This time of year.
This time of year.
Yes, and I do want to clarify that I'm speaking for myself as a volunteer. I'm not speaking for Common Ground Community Building. I have no official capacity there. As a volunteer, I am the initial contact with that entity when I answer the phone there on Fridays. So I'm the volunteer receptionist and the first person a client or prospective client speaks with.
Okay. And I was just asking from your experience, so thank you very much.
Yes, indeed. It's very high percentage at this time of the year.
Okay.
Thank
you for your comments, and thank you for letting us know. Denise Stepp. Denise Stepp. It's a very tough one. I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm having a difficult time reading this.
Does that have a star?
Indeed it does.
My apologies. I was nervous when I wrote my name down.
I understand. What's your name, sir?
It's Avel Ortiz. Do you want me to stand up here?
Yes, please come up to the microphone.
Hello.
You said Avel Ortiz?
Yes, that's Avelortiz.
Thank you, Mr. Ortiz.
You're welcome.
And do you solemnly swear or affirm that the comments you're about to offer to the commission are the truth?
Yes.
And what would you like to tell the commission today?
First off, I would like to apologize. I know a lot of the people were upset about the police, and I may have caused, a little bit of a ruckus earlier in the lobby and here now, and I kind of had cops surrounding me. So to the people, I'm pretty sure that was my fault, and I'm sorry. Didn't mean to do that. I have listened and watched how people have spoken with you and interacted with you, and I've learned a lot. So thank you for teaching me a lesson. I would like to start by saying that as a person who works a job, if I wanted to own a company, if I wanted to start a company, I would have to use my own money to start the company. And then when my company started to make money, I would have to use that money and continue to reinvest it into my company and into my people to make sure that my business can grow. What I see Ameren doing is that Ameren isn't taking their own profits, and I mean the profits of the owners, the people who at the end of the day get to walk away with the money in their bank account that they can spend freely. They don't use that money to build their business. They don't use that money to build their infrastructures. They don't use that money to build all these other things. They like to tax the people so that the people have to pay for the company to be able to build, because that's where they get all their profit from. Yes, Ameren has a budget, but the budget is for the people. It's for their bills. It's not for them to reinvest. Their profits are not for them to reinvest into their own company. It's not often that they do that. And that burden has been put on us, the people. And you guys keep saying that there's no competition, but when we hear about the people who have gas as a heating source, the new meters tell, oh, they're using gas. So now we can increase, when they do use electricity, we can increase that. Oh, they're using solar panels. So they're not using us as much. So therefore, we can increase our profits because they're not relying on us anymore. So people are like, oh, if I go solar, I have to deal with the high electric costs because now I'm not using them as much. And if I go gas, once again, I have to spend more money on the electric because I'm not using them as much. And everybody says there's no competition. Well, there's the competition. That's why the competition can't succeed, because you guys just keep raising the prices. And you're supposed to be for the people, and yet somehow you guys are profiting off of them wanting more from us. I don't know how, I don't know what kind of deals that are being made, but somehow you guys profit from it. We don't. And I think that's what I would like to say.
Thank you,
Use your own money to build your company, right? Use your own money to build your company, just like we have to use our own money to build our company. I'm not going to raise the prices on the customer. I'm going to get more customers. I'm going to have better facilities. Because if energy gets more efficient, that means that they're doing less to produce it, meaning that it should be cheaper for everyone, right? If that's the whole point of electricity efficiency, we're so caught up in the past because we're doing electricity wrong. We're not really trying to produce efficient electricity.
And
because
Mr.
efficiency
Ortiz, you're at
means
3
free.
minutes, if you can finish your thought.
Okay. Efficiency means closer to free than it does being paid for. So, thank you.
Thank you very, very much for your comments, Mr. Ortiz.
Well, thank you. Gotta go.
Harold Fawn. Harold Fawn. Dallas Robertson. Would you please state and spell your name for the record?
DALLASROBERTSON, Dallas Robertson.
And do you solemnly swear or affirm that the comments you're about to offer to the Commission are the truth?
I do.
Please go ahead.
So, I was born in Missouri. I'm a welfare kid. I know what it's like to have my electricity turned off. I know what it's like to put milk outside because my refrigerator doesn't run. I don't make $9 million a year. If anyone in this room does, congratulations, you make the same as the CEO of Ameren. I don't think it's right to ask for a rate increase for Ameren when they continue to give increases to their CEO pay. I think there should be a cut somewhere else. We have obviously seen it's inefficient to do so. Missouri is not an expensive state to live in. Apparently it is the 6th cheapest state to live in. You need about $25 an hour, 2 parents, 2 kids to live here. So I think it's best we ask Ameren to cut costs before asking for a rate increase and corporate welfare. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you.
Richard Allen? And Mr. Allen, would you state and spell your name for the court report?
Sure. It is Richard, R-I-C-H-A-R-D, Allen, A-L-L-E-N.
And do you solemnly swear or affirm that the comments you're about to give to the commission are the truth?
I do.
And what would you like to tell the commission today?
All right. I would like to state that I do agree with the comments of an earlier testifier, Joshua Dunn, who is chairman of the same committee that I'm a member of. So I'm not going to repeat his entire thing. I'm going to summarize it in the interest of saving time. I got to put on my eyes to see it first. All right. Ameren had a rate increase.
If you have a cell phone, please silence it so we can hear Mr. Allen's.
Okay.
I apologize. Go ahead.
That's fine. The last rate increase for Ameren was just 2 years ago. And they're asking for another increase now. But just as Mr. Dunn stated, we do not want to subsidize companies that use excess profits to pay their shareholders. And I could add, in relation to the last speaker, to their CEOs. But anyway, it's not just this rate increase that I'm concerned about. What I am concerned about, even more so, is bills that are in the Missouri legislature right now that would allow utilities to charge their customers for projected costs that a company thinks they might incur, and charge the customers up front. And instead of just having a rate increase every other year, which is really too frequent, we might end up with a rate increase request every year. And that's something I don't want to see. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you, Mr. Allen.
All right.
I'm unaware of that legislation right now. Do you have a bill number for that?
No, I do not have one. I read about it in the Missouri Independent.
I apologize. I've been told that we're aware of that.
The bills at that time, it was before the session started, so they were pre-filed bills.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Those are all the names that I had on my list of people who signed up to speak today at today's local public hearing. If there's anybody who was listening and would like to offer comments but was unable to do so, or was unable to sign up, or now realize they would like to offer comments, I would like to open up at this time to allow those individuals to speak. Is there anybody who would like to offer comments to the commission that didn't get an opportunity to sign up to? Okay, I see no one. If you get home today and you realize that you have that you had additional comments you wanted to make, or you're talking to friends and they said, oh, I couldn't go, but I would like to make comments to the commission about this rate case, we have other ways for them to do so. So if you have additional comments to make, or know somebody who wants to make comments, they can contact the email address PSC, which is Public Service Commission, so pscinfo@psc.mo.gov. To leave your comments by contacting the Office of the Public Counsel. To my left here, they've been very gracious about being sure that comments about cases get to the commission, or by going to the PSC's webpage, and you'll see a link there to make comments. If you're going to make comments, you'll need to know the number, the case number for this rate case, which is ER-2024-0319. With that in mind, Commissioner Mitchell, would you like to make any closing remarks?
Sure. My name is John Mitchell, and on behalf of the entire commission, I would like to thank you for coming out this afternoon and sharing your thoughts and opinions with us. This is the very first step in the rate process, and it's the first step because I think it's the most important step. It's important because this is the first time and really the only time that we get to hear from you and have the privilege of knowing what your thoughts and feelings on this matter are. We appreciate your honesty and courage in offering your comments, because it helps us make the best decisions that we possibly can. So we thank you for being here, and have a safe drive home.
Thank you, and with that, I will adjourn this local public hearing, and we will go off the record. Thank you so much for your attendance and participation here today.